Blessings.
Thank
It is,
you.
it is our pleasure to be here with you in this space. We can feel the newness of this connection, which includes you, since we feel this is the first time you're in the presence of this channeling, but also for people that are going to tune in to the conversation and are going to hear it at a later stage. We feel there's new energy, newcomers entering the conversation, and that is always good and exciting. As you know, these are times on your planet, times for humanity, where a lot is changing. You can feel that tension of change as it envelops humanity. Now, from our perspective, it is a time of unity, of connection, of humans coming together and growing together, choosing consciousness, wakefulness over sleep, over the kind of sleep that comes with automation of walking the walk without paying attention, without choosing your next steps out of a place of passion and desire. Many people on your planet are still used to choosing, making decisions that are coming out of lack or coming out of fear. They feel like that's what they have to do for survival, or that is what they have to do because that's what the system is telling them to do. However, this is changing, and it is a welcome and exciting change in your world today. And we will also add here that a part of this change is people acting up. So if you think about a small child, a toddler that first gains his or her autonomy, they are little devils. They're hard to control. They want to do everything by themselves, even if it's things that they have no ability to do by themselves. They want to participate in situations and conversations they cannot comprehend. They want to say no to everything. Anyone that has children or spent some time around small children is well familiar with the phenomena we are describing. This, you may say, is what's happening to humanity right now. So, as people are waking up and as people begin to claim their autonomy, you're going to see a lot of acting up behaviors. Things that people did not dare to do before, now they dare to do. And some of it seems harmful, some of it seems even violent or aggressive. However, it is merely a part of the growing pain of waking waking up into your autonomy as people and waking up into your true nature as such a powerful creator.
Oh, that was amazing message. It totally makes sense. Thank you so much.
It is our pleasure.
And I feel like that message kind of answered the question that I had in my mind but I will ask it out anyways if you have anything additional to add on to it. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, what stage of life they would be at when they would be watching it, but to all the viewers out there, what would be your single most important message to keep in mind for the times which are coming, or in general, as a guiding post in life in general to navigate life?
Yes, of course, we could take it in many different directions. We could fill a whole book just on answering this question. But what we do want to bring up and add is that one of the most important things to remember, also in terms of it's also a practical uh, thing to do in addition to remembering, is to honor yourself. And that's for each and every individual that is listening and is hearing it. You must honor your own emotions, your own constitution. You must honor the inner voice that is speaking to you, that is expressing wants from the higher self, directions and guidance from your own higher inner self. So, honoring yourself with everything that comes with it is extremely important. Even that we could take in different directions, but we will pause here and let you lead the conversation.
Thank you. And what I would love to have some more clarity about is about how does honoring yourself look like? Because sometimes I've seen that people have whole lot of ideas and beliefs about that. The idea of honoring oneself, self-love. Sometimes people show going on a shopping spree in the name of self-love when it actually doesn't really do much for self-love. And even when it comes to honoring yourself, sometimes people can just, take it as an ego trip
Mm-hmm.
that my ideas, my wants, my needs, my desires are more important than yours. For
Mm-hmm.
example, it's me. So how does it actually look like from that holistic perspective that you're talking about?
Yes, so honoring yourself is actually a very gentle um, notion and activities. So we mentioned emotions, honor your own emotions. So an example is you may feel tired at certain times of the month as you are becoming more and more in tune with different celestial stages. So even the shifts of the moon are going to have more impact on your body now than they had in the past. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling cranky, you must then learn how to honor yourself and be gentle with yourself so you do not go into being angry with the self, being impatient with the self, which are all natural, but bringing awareness into the situation can allow you greater flexibility with the way you treat yourself and how understanding and compassionate you're being with yourself. This is one important aspect of honoring yourself. Now, let us take your example. You mentioned going shopping. And there's nothing wrong with going shopping, of course, but we feel in your question that this activity in that example is used as a distraction from the state of the self. And here, honoring yourself also means staying with whatever comes up to the surface without seeking distractions, without employing avoidance. So if you feel icky and if you feel things are off, one, do not try to come up with stories about it because the stories are rarely accurate or helpful. That's a part of honoring the emotion, not attaching meaning to it, not attaching stories to it. And two, allowing it. And it sounds simple, but as humans, there is a very quick response to anything that is unpleasant. So when unpleasant states come up within and without in your environment, there is an immediate need to avoid, immediate inclination to distract is actually a really good word here, to go to something else. So it can be projecting it onto others, or it can be engaging in activities of consumption, whether it's food, TV, or shopping. So honoring yourself the way we intend it means giving yourself space to be and to become. We mentioned these are intense times of intense, rapid changes. You must then be your own caregiver. You must tend to your body, to your mind, to your emotions, and make sure they are well. And by well, it does not mean always good and positive and smiley, although hopefully enough of the time so you remember the joy in living. But it means honoring yourself in whatever state comes up and allowing it to be, and allow it to be a part of the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And that brings me to the next question. And I totally understand your perspective about allowing. And that is where I'm currently at, about whatever emotions come up, just allowing them to be. And I have to mention this because not so long ago, when I just started, my spiritual journey, I started reading all these books on law of attraction, about positive thinking, and it almost makes it sound like if you're thinking negative thoughts or you are experiencing negative feelings, then you will get more of that in your life. And so a lot of people, when it comes to honoring their true emotions, they kind of want to deceive themselves into believing that the only emotions they feel are positive. And if there are any negative emotions, because negative emotions are bad, and if they are honoring them too much, that means they are just focusing on the negativity, and then more of that would come to them. So
Mm-hmm.
there's this uh, detachment or even this resistance towards feeling negative feelings or uncomfortable feeling. So
Absolutely.
how do you honor even the negative feelings without the fear that more of negative stuff would come in your mind because of, the law of attraction, and
Mm-hmm.
how like attracts like, and whatever
So,
you focus on, you expand. So how do they go hand in hand?
mm-hmm. Yes. So first of all, we may want to dismantle our idea of what is positive and what is negative. So when we experience sadness or anger or whatever other emotions and states we previously thought of as negative, we may want to reframe it and realize that these are not negative. These are a part of the nature of the spectrum of emotions. However, if somebody hurts you, let's say, you can be emotionally hurt. However, if in addition to hurt, you spend minutes or hours or weeks or months planning revenge, now you're engaging in negative thinking, negative activity. So you must learn to separate, and you're really being called here to be experts on your own inner world, to know the difference when you are obsessing about something versus allowing something. And also, there is the matter of taking actions. And we will say here that if you have a bigger goal, a bigger purpose of acting in loving ways and being a balanced individual, from that perspective, it is not hard to understand that taking actions on these angry, sad, disappointing emotions is not going to be productive or conducive to your goal. So you would like to allow yourself to feel, be in the emotion, and once the emotion comes down, you can then introspect, maybe have more insight, maybe reach some conclusions, and yes, maybe even realize your next course of action. And that emotion can be a motivator. If you are hurt by someone, and the healthiest behavior is to distance yourself from that someone, that hurt, that sadness, that anger is going to be a motivator to do that. If you felt nothing, you would not move away from harm. So you must find your own balance. And again, we are calling on each and every one of you to become an expert, an absolute expert of your own inner world. And the only way to do it is to be a good observer and to allow. Now, let us address one more little thing in terms of law of attraction. It is true and accurate. When you vibrate in a certain frequency, you're going to encounter and attract other like frequency. So frequency that is similar to yours, that is resonating with your own. However, avoiding emotions that are unpleasant and covering them up is not vibrating with the frequency of wholeness and wellness. So it may feel at the moment that shopping feels better and more fun than sitting home and crying. However, going shopping and uplifting yourself that way without the awareness of what is really going on under the surface is not vibrating at a higher frequency. So there is, again, a misunderstanding here of what is positive and what is negative and what it means to attract positive or negative.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very clear and precise description of what is positive, what is negative, how to understand the difference between the two, and how there is so much misconception by, just reading about the law of attraction books and just the idea of completely ignoring the so-called negative parts of ourselves just because they're uncomfortable.
Absolutely. If we could replace uncomfortable, which is a great word, or unpleasant with negative, we feel it would create a more accurate picture conducive of accepting the whole spectrum of the human experience.
Right. Thank you. And I would love to come to continue the discussion with Yafi now. But I really appreciate your deep wisdom and insight.
It is our very pleasure to engage with you in this way. And we know this is not the last time. We send you our love and our gratitude, and we bid you farewell.
Thank you.